Welcome everyone to our last webinar in the Indigenous Women Chefs series hosted by the Annual Conference of Native American Nutrition. I'm Mindy Kurzer. I chair the conference planning committee, and I would like you all to know, write it down in your calendars, we will have an in-person 5th conference on Native American nutrition, May 22nd to 25th, 2022. So next May will be the in-person meeting at the Mystic Hotel and Casino, the conference center here in Prior Lake, Minnesota. So pencil it in. We'll be sending out an email shortly to everyone to get on people's calendars. So today I am delighted to welcome our guest chef, Loretta Barrett Oden, who was raised in Oklahoma, surrounded by cooking and often accompanied by her mother, grandmothers, and aunts while they prepared dishes. As an adult, she realized the potential opportunity to educate others about Native American history and culture through cuisine. Loretta has spent the past 30+ years cooking, studying, teaching, and adapting recipes to preserve the culinary legacy of her upbringing. In the early 1990s, she and her son, the late chef Clayton Oden, opened the Corn Dance Cafe in Santa Fe, New Mexico, the first restaurant to showcase the bounty of food indigenous to the Americas. She's best known in the public eye for her 5-part television series, Seasoned with Spirit, A Native Cook's Journey by PBS. Her work in educating others and sharing her love for history through food has earned her numerous awards and honors, including an Emmy for her PBS series. Today, we're also so fortunate to have as our commentator, Elena Terry, who is the executive chef and founder of Wild Berries, a nonprofit community outreach catering organization. She's also the Food and Culinary Program Coordinator for the Native American Food Sovereignty Alliance. One of her passions has been developing mentorship programs that help build stronger communities within the Indigenous food sovereignty movement, while empowering participants and establishing healthy relationships. Elena advocates highly for Indigenous and organic growers and producers. In promoting the use of traditional ingredients and methods of cooking, she also partners with ethnobotanists to provide education about wild food and foraging in the communities she works with. So today, we're going to have these 2 wonderful chefs to demonstrate and comment on the cooking. And I want to remind everyone that you can ask questions through the Q&A link on the bottom of your screen at any time. And then we will save some time at the end to have a dedicated question and answer session. So now I turn it over to you, Loretta. Welcome. Thank you so much for participating, and it's all yours.
For sure. I was just telling everyone earlier that whoever thought of doing an outdoor grilling demo in Oklahoma in July? It is really, really hot. And so I have fans going and there's a nice breeze blowing, and I'm just delighted to be here. So honored to be a part of this program, and delighted to be working with Elena again. I call her one of my babies. She's was a mentee and now she's a mentor. She's all grown up. Talking about wild things, we're going to do grilled achiote, marinated and roast. Come on, start over. Grilled achiote marinated quail. Quail's a big thing in this part of the country. We have bobwhite quail. We have gambo quail. And I'm gonna switch this up a little bit by using a marinade made from achiote, which is, if you're not familiar with it, it's very popular in the Yucatan. They get these little seeds that are quite interesting and red. don't wear your white chef coat or anything nice, because it's also used as a food dye. And I have quite a few kind of tie-dyed chef jackets to prove that point. But I want to get the messy part done first. I have 4 little quails. They aren't very big. So if you want a drumstick, it's not going to be a very big drumstick. These quail are, they haven't opened, they're cleaned and they're ready to go. There's a little wings and the little legs and all of that. I love to have the breast intact because I like to, stuff something in there like a little potato or a piece of onion to give them a little breast enhancement, is a nice way to put it. Then they go into the marinade, which is a paste. You can buy an achiote paste, which is really quite delicious. And my favorite brand is El Yucateca. And it has some different herbs and spices in it. And it's in a little brick, and you just break it up. And I mix it. This is going to sound really weird. I mix it. It's a little gooey brick. I mix it with orange juice and root beer. It's paying homage to sassafras and root beer that we had in the old days. And I let them marinate for not too long. I made the mistake of letting them marinate like overnight in the fridge. And añato has a lot of uses. The color of margarine that comes from añato. It's used in a lot of food products to give it kind of an orangey golden color. So I ended up leaving them too long in the fridge, and they ended up tasting like bologna. So I don't want that to happen to our little quail. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to fold their little arms back behind their heads. I hope you can see me doing this. I'm out on my front porch. And then I'm going to,
Loretta, could you lift it up a little bit more so I can see what you're doing?
Yes. Yeah. So little arms behind their heads, like they're sunbathing. And then I'll put their little legs together in a ladylike manner. And you can either split the leg and thread one through the other, or you can take a piece of corn silk, a corn husk, which I don't have here right now. I will use a skewer. And we will compact them like this and put them on the grill, backside down, and then we'll turn them over. It doesn't take them long to cook. And like most birds, you don't have to cook these well done. They're so tiny and lean that they'll get dry. So they can be just a little bit pink, a little bit, medium rare. And so I'm going to let these guys sit just a little bit longer. Then I'm going to sneak over there to my grill and put them on. Somebody will have to remind me, a neighbor or someone, that my quail are burning. So, but again, to show you how I did this, just put them on their back, take their little arms and fold them behind their head. Oh, I'm sorry, they no longer have a head, and just kind of scrunch them up into a nice little ball. You could even put them in a muffin tin. I've, done pan release or grazed a muffin tin, and they'll just about fit in a muffin tin. So you can cook them that way. But I like to cook over fire. So we're going to put these little critters on the fire. And that's the reason for I'm sorry.
Loretta, what is the flavor of that pepper? Like what is it relatable to? I haven't had them before.
Well, it's really not a pepper. I wish I had a large picture of what it comes from. Comes from an achiote tree from around the Yucatan Peninsula. And it looks like kind of a prickly hickory nut thing, and it's got, little spines all outside, and you open them up and all of those little seeds are on the inside. So then you have to grind them up either in a mortar and pestle or in a spice blender, and then put your other seasonings in, like, cumin and whatever you want to. I like to use cumin and coriander. You can make it spicy if you want, but I kind of like the slightly sweet taste to it, because we're going to put some spicy stuff with it. So there's your little quail, and she's going to go on the grill, and I'm going to slip over there right quick. Can you talk, Elena, while I'm gone?
Yeah. I think so.
Tell some of our wild stories, and I'll be right back. I'm going to scooch around here. This is not the best setup in the world, but I'm going to go put these on the grill. Whoops. Uh-oh. COVID pounds. I used to fit through here. Okay, here we go. I'll be right back, you all.
Can you still hear us, Loretta?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Oh, perfect.
So we can keep talking.
Yeah. So what temperature kind of do you have the grill on? I know that those birds are really small. So I imagine, is it just like coals that you're putting them on? Not just like a raging fire?
Yeah, it's just the coals that are just now covered with ash. So it's not that hot at all. It's about a 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Ouch. So that's about where we are. We'll put I wish I could turn us around. Just for those that are interested, I'm using a little countertop, tabletop Weber grill, just a plain little round Weber grill. Going to just lay them on backside down first. And okay, I'll be right back. There's only 4, so it won't take me long. And I'm going to put the lid on because I don't want them to flame up, but with the vents open so that the smoke can come through and permeate the birds. At the restaurant in Santa Fe, I usually pre-smoke them. Come on, get through here, Granny. I pre-smoked them over sassafras wood, and hence the reason I put root beer and orange juice in the marinade. So now we got the messy part done. And I want to do some fun things.
Loretta,
here.
if I don't have access to quail, what is a good substitute?
If you don't have access to quail, you don't live somewhere that I'm familiar with. Quail, there are probably about 12 or maybe more species of quail. The bobwhites that we have here are a little bit larger quail. We're familiar with the gamble quail with the little dingy on its head, California quail, Texas, Arizona, even up north. You could maybe try a pheasant. A lot of people dove hunt. A dove might be similar. Just any kind of bird, I guess, that you would hunt for. I don't know how duck would do because they're bigger, but this marinade is really good on a lot of different things. I've used it on turkey before. Turkey breasts, just by the breast only, and roast them with the marinade and then slice them. And that was a really popular dish at the restaurant in Santa Fe, was the achiote turkey breast sandwich. So that was always fun. And I want to get some of my machinery out here. This thing's been sitting on top of my refrigerator for eons. Seen them on TV. You've seen the spiralizers. But I found that they're fun. they're kind of fun to use, and you can use them on almost anything. But what we've I'm supposed to be keeping the menu secret at the museum. Jicama, are you familiar with jicama, everyone? It's kind of it's called a Mexican potato. It's a great big old tuber, and you always need to pick one that's, I don't like them great big. They can get huge, but I like to get them with a smooth skin, light, no blemishes, and you can peel them any way that's comfortable for you to peel. But they have a beautiful white interior. Peel usually just comes right off. And to me, jicama, it's crisp, it's moist, and it tastes a bit like, has the texture and the taste of an apple that's not very sweet. So it takes on marinades, it takes on vinaigrettes really well. I put it in salads, and what we're going to do with this one is put it in with with an avocado, kind of an avocado salsa to go with the quail.
I love jicama. It's that crunch. It's so refreshing.
Oh, it is. It's really, really lovely.
Yeah. And you can kind of put it in so much, like what you were saying. It's really versatile that people, I think it's very underutilized. I mean, from where I'm at in Wisconsin, we don't use it as much. But
right. Well, we're getting them more and more often, even here. Of course, this is the good season, for them. But I like them young, and I like them, this unblemished state. Let me cut this end off because
I have a couple of questions here.
Yes, yes.
Can you describe the flavor of quail? Is it different from like a Cornish hen or like the pheasant? Is it more delicate?
Yes, it is more delicate. The men in my family have hunted quail for as long as I've been around. It was always, they would hunt through the Thanksgiving season and during the quail season. And we always had saved up enough quail to have quail, pan gravy, and biscuits for Christmas morning. So we would fry the quail, batter and fry the quail, and they're just absolutely delicious. And I'm not going to say it tastes just like chicken, but it does taste a little bit like chicken. It doesn't have a wild flavor. I know that the guys used to always put them in a carton of milk and freeze them in milk. That's what a lot of people do with venison and different things, use milk or buttermilk to take that kind of wild gamey taste out. But I don't find that they have that at all. I had a guest at the corn dance in Santa Fe that used to come in about once a month and order a dozen quail. That's all he wanted, was a dozen quail. And he absolutely loved it. Let's see if I can make this thing work. Let me turn it. Can you see it? Yeah. Want me to put it down a little bit?
Maybe just a little bit so I can see. Oh, I lost you.
Uh-oh.
I can see pretty well now. Yeah, we can see the spiralizer.
Okay, let's see if I can figure out how to use it.
So that marinade, Loretta, can you use that on fish or like
red yes
meat? Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you look at some Mexican recipes, especially around the Yucatan, that you'll find a lot of recipes for using achiote ricado, achiote Sazon, I think this is called, achiote añato Sazon, Sasan. And there are even some recipes included on the little boxes. And you can find these at any Mexican market. They're just, we have about 10 now in Oklahoma City. But this one's my favorite brand because it has a really delicate, slightly sweet, herby taste. It has coriander in it, which I absolutely love coriander. All right, I'm going to jab this thing in here. And I'm going to turn it. Maybe. This is a 2-people operation.
I wish I was there with you, Loretta. I totally.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, this is a 2-people operation. Oh no, look, I'm spiralizing. I'm spiralizing. Da-da, and around and around and around and around. You can do this with squash.
Ooh.
I don't like little spaghetti thingies, so this is nice and crunchy. What I'm going to do is soak that in a little bit of lime and orange juice and a tiny bit of olive oil. And we have a really nice olive oil that Seika Hills sent me. They're so sweet about that. I really appreciate that. So see if I can get enough of this done. But I would like to make a little nest for the little bird out of the jicama.
So you said jicama is kind of similar in texture to an apple. Will that oxidize the same way that an apple would? Is that why you're doing the lime, the citrus?
Yes,
So
it will.
Like vinegar if they needed to instead to make a dressing or something to keep it from turning?
Yes, and I have really cool pineapple vinegar from Rancho Gordo. It's so good. So a little bit of that or a balsamic. Balsamic might be a little heavy for it and might discolor it a bit. So I use this pineapple vinegar from Rancho Gordo and then the Seika Hills olive oil. And it's, it's delightful. Help me. Well, it's not doing a darn thing. All right, let's see. What else can I operate on? I'm going to turn it around. I've only used this thing once before. We used it out at the museum because we're going to do sweet potato Suzy-Q's. So like spiralized sweet taters. Oh,
They have
it's
spiralizer attachments for a lot of equipment in your kitchen too, like KitchenAids and stuff, right?
Yes, and this one has like some little different blades. So I probably have the wrong blade in there. I don't know. Give me anything more than a knife and fork and I'm in trouble.
Save Loretta.
So here we go. Let's see if we have enough for a nest. Yes. Okay. The little bird's nest is going to go over here. Boy, wait till my guy comes and sees my porch. This is how we do it in the kitchen, right? When we're working and then we have to clean it all up after the fact. So this is gorgeous. It's really, really, really fun to do. And so I'm going to, drizzle a little bit of this pineapple vinegar over it. Not much. Oops, this isn't open yet. If you all haven't tried this Seika Hills, this is from the Yochidihi Wintun Nation. It's an excellent olive oil. It's been winning prizes and it has its own little spout. I love it. Bit of that. And I think that I will do a little bit of lime with that. Does anyone watch Jamie, what's his last name? Jamie Oliver on one of the PBS stations. A little bit of lime juice here. So that will sit there and stay nice and crisp and not turn brown like your potatoes do. I don't smell anything burning yet. So what we're going to do next is, couldn't find any really ripe avocados. This one's not bad. We all have different ways of cutting avocados. Be careful, sharp knives. Whack this little pit out of there and give it a twist. And then, like Mom and Grandma always did, stick toothpicks in it and put it in a jar of water in the windowsill and see if you can grow an avocado plant. We'll just do some little cross hatches here. And you can feel when you hit the rind, so be very careful that you don't go through and hit your hand. And then again, am I running out of bowls? No. Take a spoon and scoop that nice. Oh, this one's pretty nice. Scoop this avocado out. I love avocado. Love it, love it, love it. Knife skills. Y'all start with your kids pretty young with knives that aren't just too sharp. Teach them those knife skills that will serve them well for the rest of their lives. I don't know how many of you grew up peeling. Oh, where's a potato? How many of you grew up? I want a potato. Oh, here's a sweet potato. How many of you grew up peeling a potato like this? I think all of us did, you know, peel a potato. And I don't know why we didn't lose our hands. And that's a really big potato, but as an instance, you know, that's really not the way you should peel a potato. You should really use a peeler, either that way or this way. Good little tools. This one's OXO. OXO makes these really great little peelers with rubber handles. So clean up.
Loretta, you were saying that olive oil is Sika Hills, right?
Yes, it's Sika Hills.
Sika Hills.
Uh-huh.
And they're part of the American Indian Foods Program?
Yes, they are. It's the Ochedihi Wintu Nation, and they're up by Sacramento. And what they did, what I think is brilliant about our people. We're very ingenious with what we come up with. You know, all of the Catholic missionaries brought olive trees with them. They brought everything they wanted, you know, needed or thought they needed from the old country. And so they've taken all of these olive trees and have just, you know, planted more and more and more and grafted more and more. And this is the Araucania, and they have several other vintages, I call them. And they have a beautiful mill that they had built by Italians that came over. These are stone ground, and oxygen never hits them from the time they hit the mill until they go in the bottle. It's really a beautiful, beautiful olive oil. It's a nice green. I love that spout. It's a nice green. It has just a bit of, you know, just a bit of flavor at the end. Don't slurp, Loretta Ann. Grandmother will be mad at you. It's delicious. A little bite at the end. Great overall olive oil. And then they have a couple of other blends, and then a fratioli, I believe. So it's a nice, there's your commercial, Steak Hills.
I have some of
And
that
it's,
too, and I love it. They
yeah,
sent
it's
me a bottle
good.
as well, and it's so
Yeah.
good.
Oh, and then just rub it into your hands, you know, your hair and on your face. I met a beautiful woman about 30, 40 years ago at a resort somewhere. And I said, oh my goodness, I said, your skin is just gorgeous. And I said, you know, what's your secret? And she said, olive oil. She said, I just slather myself with olive oil. So we have now these, I'm going to smush these little avocados up just a bit. Clunk, clunk, clunk. And then more of the, I would normally be using a rice wine vinegar with this. I forgot to bring it out. So I'm going to put a little bit of this pineapple vinegar in. It helps to break down the avocado and makes it kind of gooey, makes it kind of soft. Then we're going to put a little bit of, I'm out of here. You too.
Loretta, are those quails
Yes.
doing okay? Do we need to flip them, or are they okay?
Oh, the quail. Thank you for reminding me. See, Elena?
I told you I had your back, Loretta.
Yes, 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 yes.
So I have a quick question while you're checking that. Are the seeds of the achiote ground, or do you put them in whole?
No, they're ground. Yeah, they're ground. Really fine. Either, you know, in a spice grinder. I'm caught on my brick column here. And they're ground very fine, so you can mix them up with the other spices. Oh, aren't they lovely?
So you put them backside down because that's where the dark meat is and the breast doesn't take as long to cook?
Yeah, see, we've got a little char on it. I really should have put a little olive oil on them, which I forgot to do because I was so enchanted talking to Elena and Mitzi and Jared. But I'm going to turn them over here. And I'm going to cover them up, and I'm going to close the vents because they're really done now. I don't like to cook them on that breast side first because it gets a little dry. They're a very lean bird. I'm going to move this glass. It's been sitting here. I was going to bring it to your attention because it's an absolutely gorgeous Jamaica tea made out of the hibiscus blossoms and called in Mexico Jamaica, like in Jamaica, spelled like Jamaica. I have some here. You can get these at the Mexican markets. That's what teeth are for. So they're just a dried flower petal from the hibiscus, and you put it in. I really like to cold brew it rather than boil it because I think that takes some of the flavor out. And again, it's a good stainer, but it's a delicious, delicious flavor. Makes a nice tea with a little honey, agave, a little lemon slice. It's really pretty. It's a gorgeous color. And it really isn't red wine, Elena. I promise. Let's see. But it could be. If I left it in the corner long enough, maybe it would ferment.
You know what I love, Loretta, is that you're using all these flavors. And sometimes, I mean, like around here in the northern Midwest, it's like people associate Mexican flavors with like these deep spices and, you know, like sauces and stuff. And you're highlighting these flavors. I mean, I know the Jamaica and the Jicama, and they're so bright and refreshing that it's not something that I would instantly associate with the flavors of Mexico, but they really are something really well known. And it's so, it's nice to be able to see you using them that way.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's I guess Mexican food is, of course, I consider that our food as well. You know, it's as indigenous as we are up here in the north. And I'm just going to make some little teeny thin slices of red onion. And just kind of break them up like that. Or I could have spiralized them, huh? I didn't want to fight with that again. But just, this is a pretty sweet onion, so I'm going to put a bit of that in the avocado. Going to do a bit of lime juice in the avocado as well. That too will keep it from turning brown so quickly. And these are really nice little key limes. Ooh, they're just juicy and delicious. And this is going to be our salsa somewhere. I have, and that's really all that goes in here, except I think in this case, I'm going to wow, that's pretty good with that pineapple vinegar. But I think I didn't bring any towels out here either. Don't lick your fingers, Loretta. I won't. I promise, Granny, I won't. I'm gonna put a little.
Tell, Loretta, if you, I won't tell Granny.
I'm going to put just a little bit of this orange juice in it because we have. Don't you hate those little things?
I'm not telling, Loretta. I'm not telling.
It's a tiny bit of orange juice. I love this orange juice, but I like the one with mango in it. That's orange and mango. Lee, I'm sorry. I apologize for the flies. They got an invitation as well. And I didn't bring a plating plate. Okay, I'll just plate it on my kamal. So what I would do in plating this, usually I would serve 2 quail, you know, per person. And I love to do, you know, different things, bell peppers, do all kinds of, we could do the 3 sisters with this on the side, but I'm going to use this avocado salsa and our jicama, and I'm going to plate it on our little clean it. Little Kamal. Talk about being prepared. Here we go. Now I can hear, go away, go away.
I think that's perfect to plate on, Loretta.
Yeah. So put a little of this.
Now, did you add anything to that jicama other than the vinegar?
Just the vinegar and the olive oil. And it tastes pretty good. And it's real, and you hear the crunch? Crunch, crunch. Let me go find a presentable quail. Oh, my apologies, audience. I'm going back and forth.
So I have a question here. Can you talk a bit more about the history of fat in native foods and what kinds of fat were traditionally used if we didn't have like these olive oils and stuff?
Oh, well, my favorite fat of all time. We didn't have pigs, we didn't have pigs, so we didn't get the lard until until they brought shiploads of piglets over. Oh, don't fall apart. Gotta do this one at a time. Because I tore it a little bit. You always hear about bear grease. I'm not real fond of bear fat because it's a little gamey. My very favorite fat to use is the kidney fat from the buffalo, from the bison. The kidney is just encased in this beautiful snow white fat that just renders out crystal clear. And that's what a lot of the tribes used for their pemmican. And, because it is clear, it doesn't taste greasy at all. So it would be the dried buffalo meat that was dried in the sun, the smashed choke cherries that were made into patties, also left to dry in the sun, and then crumble that all together and put just enough of that bison kidney fat in there, just so that it barely holds together. It's almost like putting a chaw in your mouth, but it's absolutely delicious. It's a beautiful fat. In fact, we have some native buffalo herds here, and I think we're going to be getting our buffalo from the Cheyenne Arapaho tribe. And I said, save me the kidney fat and save me the tongues, because I absolutely love the buffalo tongue. And I have a funny story about that because, well, you've been around the buffalo harvesting, haven't you? Yeah.
Yes. And I grew up with that, the pemmican even too, in South Dakota.
Yeah. And so the first shipment of buffalo tongue that I got into the restaurant in Santa Fe, most of my people in the kitchen were, from Honduras and Mexico and different places, and, ripped the box open and picked up, buffalo tongue's not the prettiest thing you've ever seen. It's black and it's pointed. And they go, oh, lingua el diablo, it's the tongue of the devil. They were just hysterical. But it's really great to cook with different herbs and spices, and do just like you would any tongue, and slice paper thin and use it for hors d'oeuvres. And people don't really know what they're eating till you tell them. It's quite delicious. It's one of my favorite parts. The other fats, oh gosh, you get fat, a nice amount of fat from the salmon, and right under the salmon skin. Most wild animals are rather lean. We used to order a buffalo hump when we could get them, because our burgers were so lean they wouldn't hold together on the grill. So there's fat stored in the hump, and at a certain time of the year it's humpier and fatter than usual. So we would mix some of that the hump meat in with our really lean bison meat to make our burgers hold together on the grill. So it's healthy fat. It's really healthy fat. I think anytime you see fat or you eat fat, I always look for good white fat. If it's any other color, I'm just kind of it's going to have a taste to it that sometimes is not real pleasant.
And sometimes there's glands that hide out in the fat that you have to watch out for.
Yes. And then we got lard and then shortening and margarine. Those things are so phony, so bad for you. The hydrogenated shortening and all of that. I would rather see people eat a really good quality pig lard, than to eat margarine and shortening. I think it's healthier. So, but when we can, speak to our own critters fat, I think that's the best.
I mean, I absolutely love duck also.
Oh, render. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Do a confit and render that duck fat out. Oh, absolutely delicious. And goose as well. Absolutely wonderful. Yeah. Goose fat and duck fat. And then fry your French fries in it. Fabulous. It's fabulous. So let's get to our little babies here. Oh, they didn't come out as pretty as I would like. Let's see, maybe they can comfort one another. Let's see how we want to put these. And then we want to put some of this.
Do the wings stay behind pretty well once you tuck them under?
Yes. Yeah. See that?
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful, that color, yeah. Loretta.
Isn't that gorgeous? And then normally this would be one round little breast and the legs would be like this and it would look like a teeny tiny turkey just ready for the Thanksgiving table. So that, and I was looking for watermelon radishes. I would normally stick a few radishes in here. Radishes are not indigenous, but I love the watermelons. Just stick a few in here for color. No, not you. And then I would like to take a wee bit. This is our achiote sauce.
Is that the same as the marinade or is it a little different?
It's a little bit different. Yeah, it's a little bit different. And I'm going to put some olive. Get out of there, Bubble. Go, Bubble. Do this to put a little bit of shine on our little quail. Do this splatter here. Oh, that was an ugly splatter. Green, green, green. This is cilantro oil. Just going to drip some of that around. Make some pretty colors.
Loretta, how long have you been cooking for?
You're going to make me talk about my age. I have been cooking professionally for 32 years. Wow. So I started cooking at home. Of course, that's where we get our good starts, I hope. Then started with the first restaurant in Santa Fe, New Mexico in whatever 30 years ago was. My goodness, I can't even think about it. I will be 79 in August next month. So, so just keep chugging along. So let me get this ugly mess out of the way. There's a little bit of Jamaica tea. We might finish this with some gorgeous sea salt.
Now, I think, is that the first time you've even used the salt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I don't use a lot of salt. I use finishing salts, but I don't use a lot of salt. And then I have some really, really cute little marigold flowers. They dark. Well, stand up there. So that they match the outfits that the quail are wearing. And there we have it. Quail a la hot Oklahoma summer day.
Can you lift it up a little bit closer to the camera, Loretta, so I can get hungry? No, I'm sitting here.
Get a bite, get a bite, get a bite, get a bite.
I know, I wish I was there with you. And I'm not the only one. There have been a couple others saying that they would volunteer to be your camera person anytime, Loretta.
Oh, well, and look at this. Get us a little drumstick. Oh, delicious.
So
little bitty drumstick.
It seems like it's really bright, you know, those flavors and just how delicate the quail is. I can't imagine that looks delicious, Loretta.
And just a bit of smoke. As I said, I love using sassafras with this, but also any fruit wood, apple wood, peach wood, you know, any kind of wood with that, just a light smoke and like, you know, a Mr. Smoker, or you could even do it, you know, add a few chips to your charcoal smoker, your Weber. And then this is smoky and has a lot of flavors going on. The avocado is cool. It's soft and really, you know, delicate on your palate. And then the nice crunch of the jicama, you know, it's a really nice dish.
Yeah.
And it's easier to do than I made it look.
You move so smoothly. I don't know about that. I don't know if it could be easier than the way.
Well, I really wasn't laid out as well as I should have been, but I kind of, you know, got behind in my shopping yesterday because I had a couple meetings, and so I was running around last night trying to find the ingredients. But then when I get in the Mexican market, I just go crazy. You know, I find so many things, and we have a wonderful, huge Asian market here. And that's one of my neighbors that I have to have a talk with about once a week, Mr. Beamer. But we have a wonderful Asian market here that just, you know, I don't know what half the stuff is, but I've made friends with the family. So they'll tell me all about all of these weird things. So I've been trying, you know, things like dragon fruit. And in fact, Starbucks has a dragon fruit and strawberry little mushy thing now that was pretty tasty. So
there's a couple more questions here.
Okay.
And I kind of want to know the answer to this too. Where did you get the pineapple vinegar? What
Oh my goodness. You don't know about Rancho Gordo? Oh, Steve Sando, out of Napa, California. He's known for his beans, and he sells all of the heirloom beans that you and I absolutely love. The Appaloosas, the Potawatomi limas, the Christmas limas, you know, all of them. And they're all grown in Mexico. So they're not, you know, they haven't been messed with. And look him up online. It's Rancho Gordo, but his specialties are the beans. He has a few recipes on there. He started doing hominy and pozole. So he has a pozole cookbook out now. And he's just this crazy white guy, and I adore him, but he has some beautiful product. He has a banana vinegar and a pineapple vinegar. And we all used to make vinegar, so we've just kind of forgotten about that. So it's a reminder that, this is, I could drink this.
I probably could too. I love vinegar. I think people don't realize how complimentary vinegar can be in your dishes.
Oh, and it's very good for you too. And but it's just ranchogordo.com, and they have a little shop in Napa, and the beans are sometimes in limited supply, but he has all of those gorgeous beans that we've all and somebody say, oh well, it's a white guy growing our beans, but it's not really. He's created a market for these indigenous beans and these heirloom beans, and they're all grown in Mexico, and they're delicious. They're really nice.
Do you have a cookbook, Loretta?
I have a contract for a cookbook, and I'm working on it. And I am, after this museum opens, I have a deadline that is, rapidly approaching, and I'm going to go away and hide in the woods somewhere and write this cookbook. OU Press is my publisher, and I will be, it's going to be cookbook recipes and memoirs. So there'll be a few stories about you in there too. So, so just, kind of what got me from, Shawnee, Oklahoma to Gads, all the places I've been, through these 30 some odd years, and the adventures and the wonderful people I've met. It's been, half of my lifetime doing this, but it has, I think, extended my lifeline for my lifetime for quite a bit, because it's, I'm so inspired by the young people. I'm so inspired by the elders that I've met, and just had no idea that there was so much out there I didn't know, and that I still don't know.
So you kind of touched on it, and I'm just going to be selfish about this question. And I feel like if anybody doesn't know, they should know that you've been a huge inspiration for so many of us. And you were part of the reason why I even went to some of these things, to be able to cook with you, and just your demeanor and the way you cared for us and helped encouraged us. It made a huge, it made all the difference, And so who in your life kind of helped you realize that, like, this journey was meant for you to take? And I think like you helped me trust my journey.
Yeah, I don't know that I could name any. Probably my two grandmothers. I'm half Potawatomi, so my little Potawatomi grandmother, who was about this tall, and my very proper English grandmother, was very elegant, and taught me which fork to use, that sort of thing. Those two women had such a profound influence on my life. And, everything from, Grandma Peltier teaching me how to grow and plant and harvest and go out and forage, for pecans and all of that stuff, and how to sit patiently on a little the bank of a little farm pond and catch fish. And then my other grandmother just taught me a lot about art and music and the beauty that's in the world. And so you put those two together, and wow, and I didn't realize, I didn't take that seriously until I was older. It's like a couple of little old ladies talking, and now I look back and think, golly, I wish I'd listened. I wish I had listened more than I did. But it's in there, and it comes out. It pops up and says, "Hey, do you remember this, Loretta?" Yeah, I do. And so those things that we learn and that we hear, stay with us. They really do. And I think they come out when we most need them.
Yeah. Those memories kind of lift you up when you
Absolutely. Yeah.
They redefined what comfort food is, and what people think of as comfort food is completely different when you associate those kinds of memories with a bite.
Oh, absolutely. And, this is simple food. This is radishes. That was one of the first plants that I grew because radishes grow fast. And while it's not indigenous, everyone had radishes in their gardens around here. When I was growing up, everyone had a garden and fruit trees and, really good fresh food to eat. Now it's getting kind of scary. I just let my wonderful little neighbors across the street, there's 3 households from Acapulco, and they fined them a few years ago for having gardens in their front yard. And so I went to bat for them with the homeowners association, and now they have just amazing gardens in their front yards, their backyards. They're growing amaranth and quinoa and corn and all of this beautiful stuff, and they share with all the neighbors. So it's we may repair this world, this beautiful blue marble we live on. We may save her yet, if we try real hard.
It's, a bunch of small movement like that can really turn into these waves of change. And
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I see so much now with you and all of the younger Native people that are working in the food world now, more than I've ever seen before. And I think we're on a roll. I'm really optimistic.
Yes, me too. So before we end, because we're kind of getting close to the end, we're a little over, but we have a minute for questions. Why don't you tell us, so you've been cooking professionally for, decades, but you're still cooking professionally. What are you working on right now?
Well, I'm working on this museum thing right now. And if I can get, I'm working, I was so afraid that they were going to hire a big corporate food, operator, and that it wouldn't be our food. And by golly, they have let me have a say. I'm their food consultant. I'm working with this, really brilliant young chef from Alaska. He listens to what I say. And I think we're going to do something really special here. So this project, once we get open and kind of get our feet on the ground, is when I go to work on the cookbook. I'm going to go back up to Ganandigan. I just talked to Jeanette Miller up at Seneca. She wants me back up at Ganandigan, so I love going up there. And so I'll do that in October. If I can get on a plane again. I haven't done that yet. So, yeah. I really stayed in and close for, quite a long time during the whole pandemic thing. I wasn't ready to go. Not too much to do.
Well, whenever you're ready, Loretta, I am too. I'll come get you and we can make a road trip out of it.
Okay, that would be great. I would love that. And I just adore you. I'm so proud of what you accomplished. I really am. And I'm really proud of Sean's new restaurant. Boy, that is, I don't think there's been too many Native restaurants in our history since Santa Fe, and then the guys in Oakland, they just moved across the street, Trevino, and they just moved across the street, I understand. So they're getting another go at it. So I'm really happy to see this happening. We got to keep it going.
Yeah, well, you're a driving force behind it all, and everyone you touch, feels it. So thank you for.
Oh, you're so sweet.
You're gonna make me cry, Loretta.
Oh, I know. We always cry when we get
I'm gonna
together.
shut my camera off now.
Thank you so much. This has been so much fun, and let's keep doing it. I'm ready.
Keep
Yeah.
going. And thanks
Oh.
for supporting. Thank you,
All
Mindy.
right. Yeah. No grits.
Thank you both. Thank you, Loretta. This was wonderful. And you didn't get to read the comments, but there were a lot of comments about how much people enjoy this, how much people enjoyed the demo. And we do have a survey that we're going to be sending out to all the attendees. So please fill it out. And Loretta and Elena will send you the comments so you'll know what people have said about this. Thank everyone.
Right.
Thank you, all the attendees. Thank you, Loretta, for sharing your decades of wisdom and experience with us. Thank you, Elena, for your wonderful comments and brilliance. And this is the last webinar of our series on Indigenous Women Chefs. We talked with the chefs about having a panel, an online panel at the end. And I think what we might do instead, and we'll all talk about it, is invite you all to come to the next conference in May and have a panel, an in-person panel at the conference of all of the women chefs who participated in the series, so that we can really ask questions and hear a little bit more about your own stories, your own personal experiences, etc. So I think we'll talk about that. We may have other webinars coming up. If we do, we'll email everyone. And don't forget about the conference, May 22nd to 25th, 2022. Be there or be square. And thank you again, everybody. Loretta, this was just wonderful. Elena, thank you so much. This was a dynamic, beautiful, beautiful experience. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.